Welcome back to Books with Beck. I'm Beck. Let's talk books. Right now, I'm currently home on fall break, so that means that I have unlimited reading time. So I thought that I could give myself a little bit of a challenge and see if I could limit myself to only reading books from the Little Free Libraries. Little Free Libraries are all over the place. If you want to know where they're at in your area, you just got to look it up. I found out that there are hundreds in Atlanta, as you can imagine. So I picked out probably 10 to 15 that I wanted to check out today. I am only taking 4 books with me. So that's what I'll swap out at the actual Little Free Libraries. But I wanted to check out 10 or 15 of them to see if maybe I can find the best books and see some cooler locations. I'm not going to be able to read more than probably 4 books this week. So that's why I'm taking 4 with me to switch. These are just books that I have gathered at Goodwill over time that I have not read and or I'm not going to read. This is the only one that I was really considering reading and I just haven't picked it up. So I think it's time to give it to someone else to enjoy. So I'm going to take these 4 and see what I can find. These are going to be the only books that I'm able to read for the week. So I'm hoping that I can find some good things. It's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes there's some really great books there and sometimes it's picked over and it's just lacking. So we're probably gonna have to hit a few locations today, but that is totally fine with me. Honestly, one of the really cool things about Little Free Libraries is that even though there are locations online, some of the best locations that you can find are just from driving around. This one here at the Women's Center, I found just driving by, and there was a lot of good books here. I really wanted to check out that Stephen King book, but let's be honest, I'm not finishing that in a week. You can see some locations did not have as many book options, but I did try my best to read the synopsis on each book and kind of check out what it was about. This book interested me, and I did end up taking it and switching it at a different library. However, I just decided to switch it because it was a nonfiction. It's not something I really read on the regular, so I wanted to try and make sure that it was something I was going to finish. So that's why I decided to switch it out at a different location for a different book. Looking back at this clip, I am so mad at myself because you can see on that top shelf, there's actually a copy of The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I've been dying to read. It's a short, easy, great rated book. So I'm so mad that I didn't see it. I don't know what was wrong with me. I just glanced right over it. There's also other great books in here like The Help and The Great Gatsby. There was a ton of really awesome books for kids in this box as well. However, I already own a copy of The Help and I've already read The Great Gatsby, so I took a copy of Milk and Honey and ended up switching it out later for something else. This Doctor Who location was so cute. And I feel like it was something that was easy for the owners to execute, but still really unique. There were a lot of great books in this box, but I ended up choosing The Stranger. This was the best location of the day. This was designed to look like the Fox Theater. All right, we ended up going to probably 20 Little Free Libraries. The thing about this is that these are outdoor libraries. So some of them are damaged, some of them are empty, some of them are destroyed, some of them are gone. So we went to a lot of different locations and we had a lot of luck at some places and not a lot of luck at other places. We went out into the world with 4 books. We came back into the house with 4 books. So I'm going to go through my little bag and I'm going to show you what I collected at the Little Free Libraries today. I took with me 4 books and just traded them out. There were a few that I collected them and then I traded them again because I found something I was more interested in. These are the books that I'm reading for this week, so I wanted to make sure they were ones that were going to keep my attention and I wasn't just grabbing random books. Really wanted to find stuff I would enjoy. First thing is I have The Stranger. This is by Harlan Coben. I really hate books this size. However, it says that it has a Netflix feature and it sounded interesting, so I went ahead and grabbed it. I'm just going to go ahead and read you the synopsis off the back. It says, the stranger appears out of nowhere, perhaps in a bar or in a parking lot or at the grocery store. Their identity is unknown. Their motives are unclear. Their information is undeniable. Then they whisper a few words in your ear and disappear, leaving you picking up the pieces of your shattered world. Adam Price has a lot to lose: a comfortable marriage to a beautiful woman, two wonderful sons, and all the trappings of the American dream: a big house, a good job, a seemingly perfect life. Then he runs into the stranger. When he learns a devastating secret about his wife, Corinne, he confronts her, and the mirage of perfection disappears as if it never existed at all. Soon, Adam finds himself tangled in something far darker than even Corinne's deception, and he realizes that if he doesn't make exactly the right moves, the conspiracy he stumbled into will not only ruin lives, it will end them. So it seems kind of interesting to me. It is a thriller. I cannot figure out if there's any like sci-fi aspect to it or not. So I'm gonna have to dive a little bit deeper on Goodreads and see what it's coded as. However, it looks interesting. I thought that this would be a good read. It's kind of big for something that I've never seen before and trying to get through it this week, but since it's such a small print book, I really think it will be fine. This next one is the one that I am the most excited about. This was the first one that we found. This is The Big Finish by Brooke Fossey. This it looks so cute. I don't know if you can see the old man. And on the back, it says, meet Duffy, an old curmudgeon who lives in an assisted living home. Meet Josie, a desperate young woman who climbs through his window. Together, they're going to learn it's never too late or too early to change your ways. So I'm excited about this one. It's a literary fiction. I really think that the story itself sounds cute. It reminds me of a few movies and books that I've enjoyed in the past. So I'm hoping that it's really cute. It is about, let's go see, 320 pages. So not terribly long, not terribly short, but I really think it's going to be a good book to read. All right, after that, we have All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. This is a thriller. I didn't even have to read the cover. I could tell by looking at it. I was like, oh, this looks like a thriller and it looks like I want to read it. So I'm excited about it. Let's go ahead and see what it is about. It says, it's been 10 years since Nicolette Farrell left Cooley Ridge. 10 years since she broke up with Tyler, the man she thought she'd marry. 10 years since her best friend Corinne disappeared, never to be heard from again. When the call comes that her father is ailing, Nick is living in Philadelphia, light years away from her younger self. She drops everything to care for her dad, but within days of her return, another girl goes missing, and Nick experiences a terrifying sense of deja vu. As Nick works to unravel what happened to the missing girl, shocking truths emerge about her neighbors, her family, and what really happened to Corinne that night 10 years ago. Oh my gosh, wait, that's so weird. How did two of my books have major characters named Corinne? I did not mean to do that. That's kind of trippy. It sounds interesting to me. I've seen this author before, but I've never read anything by her. So I'm hoping this is a good thriller. The last one that we have is a romance. I have seen this in stores. I actually almost bought it last week. So I was excited when I found this one. I had a different book and I switched it for this one whenever I saw it. I'm not going to read the whole back cover. It's a romance. I'm going to keep it simple. It's a romance. It looks like it is something on an island, something beach vibes. I'm going to go in blind on this one. I'm sure I'm going to love it. It looks super cute and cozy. This is by Annabelle Monaghan. Monaghan? It says author of Nora Goes Off Script. It looks good. Fingers crossed, I guess. All right, so we have 4 books to read this week, and honestly, I did not do a great job of finding like short books. So I have one short one and then a couple like medium length ones. Fingers crossed that I finish them all. I think for reading order, I am going to do probably The Big Finish first, since that's the one I'm most excited about. And then I'm going to do All the Missing Girls. After that, I'll do Same Time Next Summer, because those are the 3 that I really want to read. This one is like the one I'm the least interested in. So this is the one I'm going to read last. However, I do really still hope that I get to it because it sounds interesting. So 4 books in 1 week, all free. I just got done crying. This book was really, really good. And I expected it to be good. Like, this is the one book that I was really excited about. However, it definitely exceeded my expectations. It was sad at points, but it was such a comforting sadness. It was such a, like, I don't know. It was sad for all the right reasons. Like, it was not just sad to be sad. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I did rate this book 4 stars. It's not 5 stars for me because I felt like I wanted a little bit more from the ending, but even still, like, the ending had me crying and the ending had me thinking really deep things, and I do think that I'll think about these characters in the future. However, I did want a little bit more in the ending just because I was so in love with the story. I will definitely be looking for more Brooke Fossey books in the future. I think that it's actually criminal that this only has 4,000 ratings on Goodreads because I definitely am going to encourage people to read this. This is a great story, and it's got some really crass humor and just that kind of like acceptance that old people have of who they are. They're no longer trying to put on an act. They're no longer trying to appease society or appease the people around them. They are genuinely themselves, and they're done with all of the facade that comes with life. So you're getting to really see these raw characters. It was a really, really good story, and it had a lot of great relationship building between characters, and characters that you thought were not going to be important came much farther along later in the story. So overall, this was a great book. I read it in 1 day. I had my car in the shop, and so I just sat in the shop and read this, and I honestly, I was kept entertained the whole time. I did not want to put it down because I was constantly wanting to find out what they were going to do next. Because even though the stakes were not extremely high, there was definitely a lot of conflict that they were facing that I was wanting to figure out what was going to happen. Overall, I definitely do recommend The Big Finish by Brooke Fossey. This was a great read, and this is one of the reasons why I did this challenge. I never would have found this book if it was not for the Little Free Library. So this just shows how important these things are as they're getting, smaller books out there and encouraging you to read things that you probably otherwise wouldn't have. Okay, next on the list for the Little Free Library reading is All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. I'm really excited to read this book. As I was flipping through, you can see it kind of like counts backwards. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I see it says day 15, and then it'll switch into day 14 and then day 13. So I'm thinking it's kind of leading up to the day that they went missing, or maybe it's counting down the day after they found someone. I'm not sure, but I'm excited about that. That's something different that I have not seen before. I'm really hoping that this is a good thriller. It looks well loved, so hopefully we get a 4-star. I'm not going to say 5-star, but I'm hoping for a 4-star book here. I hope you weren't wanting to watch me read this because I'm done with it. So, here's the deal. I finished this about an hour ago, and I've been letting it sit in my mind to see if maybe I think differently about it or I've changed my mind or anything like that. I still feel like it was just lacking for me. The character relationships were lacking. The dialogue was lacking. The suspense was lacking. The character growth was lacking. I'm not going to say that the plot twist was not present, but it just seemed so very obvious that it was like, okay, this isn't really a plot twist. It was just a plot. Does that make sense? And maybe it's just not my style of thriller. That's totally fine. I think that the author herself is a fairly good author. I do like the way that she I don't know. I like the way that she did the internal monologue. I thought that was good. I would consider reading another book from her because I do want to give her another chance. I think this book for me was just not it. This was not my favorite. It's fine. I did rate this book 2 stars, which coming from me is pretty low. I'm a pretty high rater. So I just really felt like this book missed the mark. This book came out in 2017, and right now it has over 3.5 stars on Goodreads, which isn't great, isn't bad. It's just kind of like there. So I had high hopes for it, but it just fell short. Honestly, the characters are quite interesting. I felt like I would read a book about these characters again. However, just not this book. If you gave me a completely different storyline with the same characters, then I think I would consider reading it again because I think there is potential for amazing character growth. It just didn't happen here. So you win some, you lose some. So I'm glad that I read it, and it was a fairly fast read. I read it in 5 or 6 hours. So I'll give you another try, Megan Miranda. Please don't let me down twice, because then that's just bad. Next up on our little free library list is Same Time Next Summer. I'm really excited for this book because I almost bought this book in store last week, and so I'm hoping that it's good. This is by Annabelle Monaghan, who just put out another book that is like trending. It's something, I don't know, but the cover, it has like the girl's hand behind her back, like fingers crossed. So I've been seeing that book around, and I've been looking at that one as well. So hopefully this is a good one. Obviously, this is an author that's on the climb. This book came out in 2023. So this is a fairly new book. I'm not really going to read into it. It seems like a pretty basic romance. I will read this short little thing. This is the beach rules. So it says, do take long walks in the sand. Do put an umbrella in every cocktail. Do not run into your first love. So it seems very cute. It's going to be like a beachy summer read, which isn't quite what I'm wanting when it's 50 degrees in October, but you know, maybe it'll give me a break from the cold. Once I finish this book, I do have one more. I do not know if I'm going to finish it in enough time. So I'm giving that precursor now. It just looks a little lengthy, and looks like there might be a little bit of backstory based on what I've read in the plot. So I don't know if I'm going to get through it. I'm just not as excited about that book. I probably should have got that one done first, now that I'm thinking about it, but it is what it is. I'm still really glad I did this challenge. I think this would be an amazing challenge for someone who's in a reading slump, for someone who's just now getting back into reading, because this really pushes you to try new genres, new authors, new stories that you probably wouldn't normally pick up at the bookstore or at the library. So it kind of forces you to read things that are out of your comfort zone, which I think is great for any reader, whether new or seasoned, because if you read things that you don't enjoy, you're able to appreciate the things you enjoy far more. And also, I feel like if you're always reading books that you love and enjoy, then you're not able to really critically think about those books, and you just kind of get stuck in a loop of reading the same 5 tropes and 5 plots. So I am excited. Even though I didn't love my last book, I am still glad that I read it, and it will help me to better understand what I like in thrillers in the future. So if you are kind of one of those people who are stuck, or you're wanting to start reading again, I do think this is a great challenge for you. And there's little free libraries all over the country, so there's no excuse. It's free.
Okay, so right now it's the middle of the night, and I'm realizing that yesterday when I finished the book, I did not leave a review. So I did finish the book Same Time Next Summer, and honestly, I really did enjoy this book. I ended up rating it 4 stars. So what I loved about this book is that it was childhood best friends, which is one of my favorite tropes. It was a little bit weird for me because she was in a different relationship at the beginning of the book. So seeing her fall in love while she was with someone and actually planning her wedding was a little icky. But it ended up being a really beautiful love story because of the fact that she truly was not meant to be with her fiance. They were not a good fit, blah, blah, blah. So the story itself was really cute. And it honestly, even though the romance was good, it was a lot about kind of remembering who you are. The main character sort of left her hometown and got to a new place and suddenly started acting like someone different, which, sometimes I feel like applies to me. So it kind of made her think, back to who she really was and where she came from and get back to those roots, which sounds so cliche, but honestly, like it's a good message in every story and book that I read, just to make sure that you never forget where you came from and keep those basic principles about yourself, regardless of who you're with or who your friends are. So overall, this book was really good. Do I think it was revolutionary? No. That's why I rated it 4 stars. So it was good. I would definitely tell someone to read it. And I am going to check out some more of Annabelle's books. But overall, I'm really happy with it. Um, I am not going to read The Strangers. I'm not interested in reading it. I am running out of time for the week and I want to end on a good note. So we're going to wrap it up here. This was an amazing challenge and I really, really am glad that I did it. I encourage you to check out the Little Free Libraries in your area and let me know what you find. Honestly, I am probably going to go tomorrow to grab some of the books that I didn't get and switch them back out. And the great thing about this is if you start with 5 books, you can get 5 books the next week and 5 books the week after and 5 books the week after. And, under consumption core at its finest. So please, please, please utilize this resource, contribute to this resource, and help to keep them available for the community. I'm going to go to bed. I will see you next time on Books with Beck. Good night.
Book Husband here. Like and subscribe. Love you. Bye.